Yeah, Mike Scott, Chicago. Only way to keep calm is troubled worlds have a serene mind. Paul for the penitentiary. Sitting there talking to Cliff. Cliff asked me a question. He said I got a lot of time because he only met two people. He said the time I have, and because basically repetition. I explained to Cliff. Repetition takes discipline, and I still I have educated feet. And I had a military stepfather. Not I know they got a movie called Woman King, but there's always a king come first, then it's a queen. And I had a military stepfather. See, a wise man fun is being wise, a fool's fun is being bad. A king is esteemed his own country. A wise man wherever he goes. See, a wise man goes somewhere where a king can't go. So Mike Scott, Chicago, I've been drinking 33 years. That's through discipline, surrender to the wind. Having gambled 33 years, I don't care what the casinos are doing around me. And I haven't smoked with joint in 33 years. I don't care just because they legalize stuff. See, usually what's popular is not right, what's right is not popular. Right. A passive person, now I'm not passive. A passive person is advertising a man's dream. You just because you say it don't mean I believe you. See, and Halloween's coming up, darkness, fears are dark when we develop negatives. So, a spell, people put spells out here. When they say the word called spree. So you got to watch words because they change words on you. Disneyland, you don't say boys and girls. They say dreamers. I used to dream about money, wake up broke. See, I can't worship God and money both. I serve a God that commands that song, whether you like it or not. Because right now, they took God out of schools, but they got Halloween in schools. That's how cold the game is. And coming January, fentanyl is going to be a misdemeanor. Fentanyl is a $1 trillion business. West Side's full of fentanyl on the streets. A black man can get pulled over for a traffic stop and get gunned down, get killed in the streets. But they have 3-day festivals in Chicago, Mexican Independent Parade. They didn't stop that. See, that's how cold the game is. So you got to educate your mind. Educate a man with certain spiritual qualities, which makes him calm in adversity and happy when alone. I'm happy when alone. I don't need a crowd. I go to crowds if I can balance. I'm my own best friend. Where Aristotle says, see, I study a lot of books. So you got to educate your mind. You got to read books. A book by its counsel teaches a wise man how to live. See, I didn't know how to live. I read different books. And it teach me how to live. That's why I tell people, Paul for the penitentiary. I must control my emotions, or my emotions will control me. Right now, the men are very emotional. They get murdered on the expressway over somebody beeping the horn because they reacted. So I got to learn how not to react. King Solomon, going back to King Solomon now. See, I had to memorize this because, see, there's still stuff. See, remember back in the day, blacks didn't want blacks to read books. See, I've memorized my books. Book called Meditation of Mastery. I've been on many years, and I'm gonna take you to the Zen and the martial arts. I studied Korean karate, but Zen is talking about the Zen and martial arts talking about your mind got to be like that mirror. You got to learn how to detach. So once you go and look at the mirror, it's going to show your reflection. But once you walk away from that mirror, it's going to let you go. And that's how you do with people. You got to detach from people. Because some people, they can't let their lady go. They said, that's why Buddha said, what's the use of claiming something that is yours when even the moon is used as a public light? The fool says, these are my kids and this is my wealth. Well, he himself not on himself. Some people say, that's my money, that's my woman. So that's why they got domestic violence, in the world, because people can't let go. So you got to be cool, calm, and collected and detached from people. Freedom comes from the mind, And my own best friend, like Aristotle, I believe what Aristotle talked about. He is his own best friend. I'm my own best friend. And tasted light and privacy, where the man of low virtue ability is on worse enemy and afraid of solitude. What is virtue? Moral goodness. A man is rich in proportion to things he can afford to leave alone. The more things I leave alone, the freer I am. That's deep. And remember this. The greatest men were the poorest. I walk. I ride a bike, stationary bike 7 days a week, and I walk every day because it keeps your legs strong. Possession is pamper the mind. Privation trains the strength. So I go up and down the stairs on the west side, 60s, just living on papers collected. So, don't nobody want to go to work today. And that's why King Solomon takes back in Proverbs there. He says, a lazy man, and people are lazy now, right? Stays in the bed. Like you walk in the store right now, they don't even serve you food. They want to stand there and get paid for being in the place. A lazy man stays their head to the bed like pinches on the door saying he can't go to work because it might be a line on the road. So back in the biblical days, they didn't want to work because there might be a line on the road. Nowadays, they talked about COVID was on the scene, so people didn't want to, they shut down the world. So January the 1st, the new laws from this governor is that, when they're going to make fentanyl a misdemeanor, and you have a lot of madness going around here. So they create the madness. See, you're dealing with, sometimes wickedness in high places. You're not wrestling with flesh and blood. I'm dealing with principalities. Halloween is coming up. That's a pagan holiday. Satan is the father of lies, and and that's why there's a lot of madness going to go on Halloween because they got to worship this. See, I studied yin yang. Taoism, talk about negative and positive. It's always got negative, positive people around you in the world. It's good and it's a bad, constant in war. So that's why I pray and meditate before I walk outside. And I detach from my phone, People are not driving cars on cell phones. I'll call across the street, Walking down Wells Street, the guy said, look at all this cocaine. I didn't look over there because, see, I ignore evil. See, the streets are full of, and see, the legalized marijuana because they want to control your mind. They want to put our habits out here. Anything you got to do every day becomes a habit, So a habit, your phone can become addiction. People they can't live without looking at their phone every 10 seconds, So I got that word called detach. Bhagavad Gita, one is not disturbed by misery, one is not later to happiness, free from attachment, fear, and anger. See, anger, word, and anger. Uncalm times are the only times when evil can find an entrance. Evil finds an entrance through worry, anger, and fear. What is fear? Fear is a dark room developing negatives. Fear is the curse of the world. Fear is everywhere, So I pray to have no fear. So even though I walk the valley of death, I have no fear. I'm out here at Mike Scott, Chicago. This man asked me, I was talking to this guy because you got to communicate with people, Communicate with people. Because he said he don't see too many people around with, that still they're coming around. Communicate with people. Everybody want to isolate and be on the Zoom world or be in this other world. People want to stay home and work remote. That's what robots took over the world. I told people many years ago, they started laughing. I said when they, when Amazon came out, they took over the whole world. A person push a button, something to come to you. So, if you don't think for yourself, somebody will think for you. So you got to use your mind. Is the greatest happiness, tranquility to the mind. So watch what you put in your mind. I get the weather, the news. It's going to be 75 the first day, and I get out of the news. I detach from the news because it affects my spirit. And I keep meditations in my mind. Cyril Tinsdale said, I have no riches but my thoughts, yet these wealth are enough for me. See, I learned through meditation, prayer, self. It's not what you possess, because I thought it was what I possessed. I had 2 cars. I had things. I was flip a credit card, jump on a jet. I thought it was what I possessed. It's not what you possess. Who you are. You can be in a mansion, blow your brains out. It's not what you possess, who you are, the position you hold, or where you're located at that makes you happy or happy. It's what you think about. You take a fool and put him in a mansion, he's still a fool. You take a fool, put him in an office, he's still a fool. And what is hate? When you hate something, you draw that towards you. If I hate dogs, every time I walk outside, I'm going to see a dog. People hated Trump. But even a clock is broke twice. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. People hate it, But what's the difference, like I asked again? See, the difference between the Republicans and the Democrats, it's the same old soup just warmed up. Don't be tricked. Don't look for no human being to do you right. Trust in God. In the dollar bill, it said, God we trust. It don't say trust people. It said in God. Yes. See, I keep God first. So Mike Scott, Chicago, like I said, the meditation of masters, I fell in love with many years, and it keeps me inspired because I do it every day. See, he said, the one wear shoes. The pebbles in the road will not harm his feet. If one remains calm under any condition, the pebbles in life will not cause you pain. Then I'm going to give you a Zen riddle. See, the spiritual master. See, a spiritual person can endure insults, ill treatment, criticism, and not react. Then the spirit can be strong like an army. Your spirit, right? Because it's all about spiritual. It's a spiritual world. You know, that's what the word called spree is, a spell. When they say he went on a shopping spree, she went on a gambling spree, he went on a crime spree. These are spells. So the Halloween's coming. I used to be on the spells. I studied many religions. You know, I didn't just read one book. I read a lot of books. You know, I know about, you know, the art of reading, the art of listening. Gotta listen. You know, I listen to you. You ask me a question, so I listen to you. You know, I can't ignore you. I gotta listen to you. I gotta talk to people. So I'm glad you here, because you know, like I say, I was here by myself, you know, and you came in, we started talking, you know, because you gotta talk to people. And we learn from the cradle to the grave. This is a lesson. I went to the church on Father's Day. They gave all the fathers a book, and I memorized this meditation, because you got to use your mind. It said, life is a big question mark, God is a big answer. Whatever the question, he's the answer. No matter how down, up, tired, strong, betrayed, hurt or happy, rich or broke, famous or unknown, God is the answer to your problems. Money is not the answer to my problems. Women is not the answer to my problems. I went 10 years out of it. I'm not going to go without, you know, what I need is food, water, air. The guy who created Apple cell phone, he said, even though I created this massive $1 billion, I lay in this hospital bed, hooked up to machines to keep me alive. See, your health is your wealth. And politics is nothing but, it's war without blood. That's what politics is. So, I don't talk about religions and politics with people, because, you know, I don't think like people. I don't follow 1 billion people want to water air, 1 million people water air show. I don't go to that. Jimi Hendrix, he said, he wrote this song talk about, he says, stone free, do what I please. So you got to be free. Speak your own mind, think your own thoughts, live your own life. See, nowadays, they don't want you to speak your mind. That's why they try to censor people. If you don't believe in me, you know, I was put out of church because I was into different religions. Like I said, I studied many religions. So Mike Scott, Chicago, cool to be a square, the slow lane's best lane.